Good evening, our dear viewers. I welcome you to Pokopoko News at Night. I'm ARNORLD, your #1 presenter at MRU. Before I dive in, always keep yourself updated at MRU for in-depth stories and updates. Here are the clear headlines. Plight of Gaza's civilians unbearable as Israel kills over 50 in a day. Uganda sentenced LRA commander Thomas Koyold 40 years for war crimes. Mozambique ruling party declared winner of election amid fraud claims. Flight of Gaza's civilians unbearable as Israel kills over 50 in a day. UN Chief Antonio Guterres says the levels of deaths and injury in North Gaza are alarming and calls flights of Palestinians unbearable. For further details, ARNORLD will supplement. Israel attacks have killed more than 50 Palestinians across Gaza Strip in less than a day. Most of them in the northern of the KALYANGO and have been the screen of renewed Israel growing offense for the past 3 weeks, leading the chief of the United Nations to call the flight of civilians there unbearable. At least 11 Palestinians have been killed and dozens of others wounded after a school in northern,
including a young girl, the roof collapsing in on.
At least 11 Palestinians have been killed and dozens of others wounded after a school in northern Gaza was hit on Sunday. Reporting from Deir el-Balah in central Gaza, Al-Jalaz Hinda, the Israel strike killed at least 8 Palestinians, including 3 journalists and 8-year-old girl called Zian Gal-Ol, who was waiting for a queue to receive biscuits from the school, she said, adding that death toll could climb as the number of injured was high. The Israel military has said that it was looking into the report about the strike on the school. The military added that it had killed more than 40 Hamas fighters in Jabalia area in the past 24 hours, as well as dismantled infrastructures and located large quantities of military equipment. Strikes on the towns of Jabalia, Beit Hanun, and Beit Laharia in the northern Gaza have so far killed about 800 people in the 3 weeks offense, Gaza's Ministry of Health said. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said is shocked by harrowing levels of death. The flight of Palestinian civilians trapped in the northern Gaza is bearable. Guterres spokesperson said, I remain ARNORLD. The Mozambique ruling party declared winner of election amid fraud claims. The ruling Fremo Party presidential candidate Daniel Chapo secures more than 70% of votes, Electoral Commission says. For further details, ARNORLD is there with further information. Mozambique's ruling party candidate Daniel Chapo has been declared the winner of the country's presidential election amid claims of ringing by the opposition. Chapo from the Fremo Party, which has been in power for almost a half of a century, secured more than 70% of the votes, the National Election Commission said on Thursday. His main opponent, the independent candidate Veneziano Modplane, came the second with more than 20%, while the candidates of the opposition party, Renamo Osfo Moment, came the third with more than 5% according to the CNA. The results of the October 19 election mean the government Front for the Liberation of Mozambique party has extended its 49 years in power since the South African country gained independence from Portugal in 1975. It then fought a bloody 15 civil war against the rebellion group Renamo, which later developed into the main opposition. Mod Plain Fifite, backed by the Demos Party, has claimed the won vote, alleging electoral fraud and manipulation in favor of Flamo. Speaking shortly after the results were announced, Chapo told supporters he condemned the recent killing of two opposition figures. He also criticized the strikes called by the opposition to protest what it claimed was systematic deceit. Police called the demonstration this week, despising them by firing tear gas. Mod Lane accused the security forces for carrying out the killing. Police say they have launched an investigation into the killings, which Fremo vehemently condemned as Masquerade Act. Chapo promised to do better for Mozambican people, regardless of race, region, or political affiliation. 47-year-old Chapo will officially take charge of the Southern African country in January, becoming Mozambique's first president born after independence. As communication was announcing the result, the crowd of Mod Plain supporters gathered in various cities, including capital Maputo and North Nampula, some brandishing, paradising, and slogans such as "Tired of being slaves of thieves." I remain KALYANGO ARNOLD, the reporter from MRIU. Uganda sentenced LRA Commander Thomas Quayle 40 years for war crimes. Landmark trial is the first time as Lord Resistance Army member has been brought to justice in East African country. KALYANGO ARNOLD will supplement. A court in Uganda has sentenced Lord's Resistance Army Commander Thomas Quayle to 40 years in prison after landmark war crimes trials over his role in a group of 2 decades reign of violence. The sentence was announced on Friday by Michel Elubu, the lead judge in the case, at a court in the northern city of Gulu.
For all these counts and offenses that he has now been found guilty, that he has now been sentenced on, it is deemed that the sentence of 40 years, which was meted out to him on the...
Justice Duncan Gasagwa, one of the 4 judges on the case, said the convict played a prominent role in the planning, strategy, and actual execution of the offenses of extreme gravity. He added that the victims have been left with lasting physical and mental pain and suffering. Quayle was found guilty in August of 44 offenses, including murder, rape, and not guilty of 3 counts of murder. 31 alternate offenses were dismissed. The trial marked the first time as member of the RA had been retried by the Uganda's judiciary. It was also the first atrocity case to be retried under a special division of the High Court that focuses on international crimes. 20 years as it battled and the military from the bases in the northern Uganda, founded in the late 1980s with the aim of overthrowing the government of Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The LA brutalized Ugandans under the leadership of Joseph Kony. For nearly, the fighters were notorious for horrific acts and cruelty, including hacking off victims' lips and lips. In 2009, Quayle was captured in a neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo during a raid of regional forces. The RA rebels had been focused out on the northern Ugandan into DRC and other neighboring countries, and few years earlier because of the Ugandan military offenses on the group. Yellow was brought back to Uganda having suffered a bullet wound to his stomach. He spent the next 14 years in the prison as the prosecution put the case against him together. I remain KALYANGO ARNOLD, the news reporter from MRIU. Stay tuned at MRIU Pokopoko News. I'm KALYANGO ARNOLD.